Bonsoir à tous et bienvenue à cette édition du grand format de l'actualité bilingue. Les titres du journal avec vous, Immaculate Fogwe. Good evening, Immaculate.
Good evening to you, Irish Gonomala. Good evening, dear televiewers of Équinoxe Television. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of the 8 p.m. Bilingue newscast. It was a tight encounter between the indomitable lions of Cameroon and the silly nationals of Guinea-Conakry as both teams ended with a 1-1 score in today's first or maiden edition of the amateurs in Pool C. And away from that, the death toll in connection to the Anglophone crisis continues to rise. At least 3 people have been killed in the course of a gunfire exchanges between the pro-independence fighters and separatist fighters. This incident occurred in Kumbo, a locality in the northwest region. You have greater details of all these and more in this edition of the news.
Au menu de ce journal, Coupe d'Afrique des Nations 2023, le Cameroun fait match nul face à la Guinée-Conakry. Les deux équipes se sont séparées sur un score d'1 but chacune. Le match comptant pour la première journée de la poule C à Yamoussoukro, au stade de Konamboni. À suivre aussi dans ce journal, cette consternation des commerçants de la ville de Ndop dans le département du Ngok-et-Toundia. Ils ont investi quelques rues de la ville pour protester contre la fermeture de leurs espaces marchands. Les autorités de la ville leur reprochent d'avoir respecté le ghost town imposé par les combattants séparatistes anglophones. Voilà le menu du journal. Mesdames, Messieurs, vous faites bien de vous informer sur Équinoxe Télévision. Merci de choisir nos antennes. Ouvrons ce journal avec cette consternation des commerçants de la ville de Ndop dans le département du Ngok-et-Toundia. Ils ont investi quelques rues de la ville pour protester contre la fermeture de leurs espaces marchands. Les autorités de la ville leur reprochent d'avoir respecté le ghost town imposé par les combattants séparatistes anglophones. Dans le même temps, à Kumbo, 3 personnes ont été tuées dans une attaque entre séparatistes et armée nationale. Claudia Issia, reportage.
Arbre de paix à main, chant de louanges, ces hommes et femmes commerçants en Ndop, chef-lieu du département du Ngok-et-Toundia, dans la région du Nord-Ouest, sont sortis massivement accompagnés des autorités religieuses pour une marche pacifique. La raison de cette manifestation, la fermeture par les autorités des boutiques et espaces commerciaux ayant respecté le ghost town, imposé chaque lundi par les séparatistes dans les régions du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest. Tout commence le 2 janvier 2024, signé par le sous-préfet de Ndop, stipule que toutes les entreprises privées et publiques de la localité doivent rester ouvertes tous les lundis pour contribuer à mettre fin à la pratique des ghost towns. L'ordonnance met explicitement en garde les individus ou groupes qui ne s'y conforment pas. Cependant, certains riverains, déplorant l'incapacité des autorités à les protéger, les laissant vulnérables aux représailles des combattants séparatistes, ont préféré fermer leurs boutiques. Pour n'avoir pas respecté l'ordre du sous-préfet, ils ont vu leurs boutiques scellées. Après 4 jours sans activité, ces pères et mères de famille ont décidé de participer à cette marche pour exprimer leur mécontentement et exposer aux autorités les difficultés auxquelles ils sont confrontés au quotidien. Des doléances entendues par le préfet du département du Ngok-et-Toundia qui a ordonné l'ouverture immédiate de ces espaces marchands. À quelques kilomètres de là, à Kumbo, chef-lieu du département du Mboui, 3 personnes ont été tuées lors d'un affrontement entre les séparatistes et l'armée. On rappelle, cette crise sociopolitique dans les régions du Nord-Ouest et du Sud-Ouest dure depuis 7 ans. Une situation qui met à mal les populations qui vivent avec la peur dans le ventre.
En sport, football, les supporters dans la région du Sud-Ouest Cameroun vivent également au rythme de la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations 2023, bien sûr en supportant les Lions indomptables du Cameroun. Malgré les tensions présentes dans la région, quand il s'agit de football, la célébration est la chose la mieux partagée dans cette partie du pays. Le reportage de Dallas Chana et Esther Manuela Anon.
Malgré les multiples tensions enregistrées dans les régions du nord et du sud-ouest du Cameroun, l'amour et la passion pour le football camerounais n'ont pas disparu. particulièrement à Kumba, dans le département de la Mémé, où le maire de la ville, Grégory Meouna, a mis tout en place afin de permettre aux supporters de vivre le premier match des Lions indomptables face aux Syli nationales de la Guinée.
Peu importe si nous sommes fâchés, quand il s'agit du football, nous devons mettre les rancœurs de côté et profiter du moment. Je félicite le maire de la ville pour cette organisation.
Pour certains fans, cette 34e édition de la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations sera très rude car toutes les équipes engagées se valent et le Cameroun devra faire de son mieux pour se surpasser durant la compétition.
Durant cette Coupe d'Afrique des Nations, il n'y a pas de petites équipes. Tous les autres annoncés comme grands favoris, dont le Nigeria, l'Égypte, le Ghana, la Côte d'Ivoire et le reste, nous avons vu ce qui s'est passé à leur premier match. Donc le Cameroun doit faire attention, mais nous sommes prêts.
Au-delà des guerres et des oppositions, les Camerounais sont prêts à vibrer au rythme de la Coupe d'Afrique des Nations 2023 en soulevant le plus haut possible les lions indomptables dans cette compétition.
Et justement, le Cameroun a été tenu par la Guinée-Conakry lors de du premier match comptant pour la première journée de la poule C. Les Lions indomptables ont fait match nul face à ce pays, d'un but partout. Le match comptant justement pour la première journée de la poule C à Yamoussoukro au stade de Konan Boni. Immaculate. Dans ce journal, nous allons également parler de ce match en langue anglaise.
Exactly. Irish Gonomala, we're talking about the match where the indomitable Lions of Cameroon equalizes with the Syli nationals of Guinea-Conakry with a score of 1 goal to another goal, and the lone goal scored on the Cameroonian side was done by Frank McGill, the team striker. Meantime, defending champions of the African Nations Cup, Senegal defeated Gambia today with a score of 3-0 at the ongoing 2023 African Nations Cup. Still in sports, some Cameroonians in the crisis-hit northwest and southwest regions of the country expressed their wish for the indomitable Lions to win the match against Guinea-Conakry. While they gave their different predictions, a denizen in Kumba urged those holding grudges to keep them away aside and supports the Lions throughout the competition. That was before the match that we had this evening. We have details in this report done by Innocent Aze.
The Cameroon versus Guinea match played on Monday being a ghost town day in the northwest and southwest regions. To kill the ghost that has been roaming Kumba in the Meme division for years, the city males set up an AFCON village where the population could assemble in their numbers to watch the Lions play.
No matter how we are vexed, no matter what the motivation, when concern football, we keep your vexed and come and enjoy with the people. Because football is something that brings people together.
Before the start of the match, some supporters of the Lions gave these predictions.
Cameroonians, they have expectation to see that Cameroon to prove that they are a big football nation in Africa. Guinea will always give Cameroon half time to remain concerned football. But Cameroon would like to break that record to show that Guinea is underdog to Cameroon. So Cameroon will beat Guinea by 2-1.
We are certain we are going to beat Guinea at least 3-0. Take it from me. This is not the first time, and Cameroon will not disappoint us today.
This stems from the quality of players who were caught up.
We are looking at the quality of players like Njie Clinton, Abubakar Vensa, how prepared he is. And not forgetting that Onana left England yesterday. And why not looking at the technical bench of Kala, the management bench of Song? You see that these guys are really prepared.
Despite today's result, these Cameroonians in Kumba keep their flames burning for the Lions, hoping they win a 6th trophy. Given that there is no inferior football team in Africa today, these citizens have this advice for the Lions.
I'm sure you saw what happens during the past matches. Ghana was virtually begging for draw and other big things. So Cameroon have to be very watchful. Africa has gone to the stage where there is no small team. They are fighting to also have the touch of that cup.
The supporters in Kumba call on their brothers to forget their differences, come out in their numbers and support the indomitable Lions heading for the trophy.
And the ghost town phenomenon continues gaining grounds in several neighborhoods in Anglophone Cameroon. A case in point is Dub, a locality in the Gokitunja division of the Northwest region where several stores remain closed with activities grounded as a result of the Monday separatist imposed lockdown. In order to put an end to this rising phenomenon, the senior divisional officer for Gokitunja division went about sealing stores. However, after several pleas were made, he went about opening back the same stores. We have details in this report done by Mala Glory.
The crowd shook with excitement when the senior divisional officer from Gokitunja unsealed their shops that have remained closed for over a week for respecting Ghost Town. This is after the people, together with religious leaders, pleaded with administrative authorities. It all started on January 2nd when the senior divisional officer, Dulong Konge, signed a release banning the closure of shops on Mondays. To him, it was an effort to end the ghost town phenomenon imposed by separatist fighters. He announced a cleanup campaign on this day and imposed everyone to participate, an action which was highly criticized by the population. Still, in the Northwest region, precisely in Kumbo, 3 people have been killed in an attack between the military and the separatist fighters over the weekend. The effects of the Anglophone crisis is still very much felt in the English-speaking regions of the country, who continue to call for an inclusive dialogue.
And away from the Anglophone crisis, inhabitants of Pekawit, a neighborhood in the Douala 3 subdivision, are still in shock after a lady deliberately threw her 2-day-old baby in a river. The lifeless body of the baby was discovered this morning by locals. Residents say the lady was probably pushed by her mother to carry out what they describe as an abominable act. We have details in this report done by A.C. Luciliengo.
It is a sad morning for the inhabitants of Pekawit in the Douala 3 subdivision. A young lady deliberately throws her own baby into a river. According to an eyewitness, the baby was put in a bag covered with dresses, a towel, and napkins.
She threw the child as she went back. She told us nothing. It's later in the evening that I've discovered the child inside the water. That the next day the population came, the father came, he called everybody, saying that there's a child inside the water. There was no seeing the child. Some few minutes later, I came with a stick. I started to search inside the water. After I seen the child, when I jerked up the child, when people saw the head, everybody shout. When I jerked the child, I pushed it in forward. It's another man, a friend policeman that took him, placed him here, and they went there to the house.
Inhabitants of Pekawit say the baby was born on Friday, and on Saturday people came home to welcome the baby. Surprisingly for the population, the baby was discovered in a river. Eyewitnesses who alerted the forces of law and order say the lady was probably pushed by her mother to get rid of the 2-day-old baby. It is still not clear why the lady and her mother decided to commit such an act. Meantime, the lady has been arrested by gendarmes alongside her mother, while investigations have been launched.
And on to something else. It is exactly 53 years today that Ernest Wande, Cameroonian politician, was brutally executed in Bafoussam, the west region of the country. Ernest Wande was one of those who fiercely stood against dictatorship and fought for the country's independence. And Abila spoke to a civil society actor who expressed concerns over the fact that those who gave up their lives for the freedom of the nation are not properly given the right honors as they ought to be. Details in our report.
Ernest Wande was a prominent figure in the fight for the independence of Cameroon. As a freedom fighter, he waged a relentless war against what was termed the dictatorial Ahidjo regime. Wande was harshly persecuted and finally publicly executed in front of a crowd in Bafoussam, and his body was dropped off the cliff of the Meche Falls. He is considered a national hero by some Cameroonians, but not officially by the state. A civil society actor worries why memories of those who died for the nation are hardly honored.
Patriots are not considered heroes in Cameroon because they are eye-openers and they work for the good of everybody, not for the good of the regime or individuals. UPC and its leaders were considered to be rebels, and so the title for a hero was taken away from them with that title of rebellion. And that is the way it has always been in Cameroon. Those who fight for the good of the nation end up being identified as rebels or terrorists.
Professor Mark Anthony Akumbom thinks patriots should hold strategic positions in the country.
Nationalism was part and parcel of their struggle. But look at it today. The reason why the country is failing is because it was given to those who never raise a finger. Those who are sitting in power don't know what it means to be patriotic. And what do you expect? The nation will keep falling.
How then, or what should be done to properly honor the memories of those who gave up their entire existence for the nation?
Change most of the streets in Cameroon and name them using these heroes, fallen heroes. Change most of the, in fact, the kind of statues we build around in the name of honoring colonial memory. We need to pull them down and raise the statues of our own people.
The nationalist Ernest Janvier was born in 1924 in the West region and was brutally murdered during the colonial era on January 15, 1971.
And that report on Ernest Janvier puts an end to today's edition of the 8 p.m. Bilingue newscast on Équinoxe television. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your keen attention. Stay in the company of more interesting programs on ETV. Equally, have a lovely evening.
Bonne soirée, Immaculée Forgoué. Merci à vous de nous avoir suivis. Rendez-vous demain pour notre grand format de l'actualité.